Hey everybody, this is Gregory from Dapp University. So today I wanted to show you a little project that I've been working on. This is my very own cryptocurrency and ICO website that I built. So basically what this is a website that allows you to purchase a cryptocurrency that I have created in exchange for some fake Ethereum. So this is deployed to the Rinkeby test network. So I wanted to kind of just walk you through this today about how you can use it, and also take you through a little tour of the code of the cryptocurrency and the token sale website. So if you would like to see more videos about how you can build this yourself, be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can see those when you come out. And I've been working on this cryptocurrency project because right now, cryptocurrencies, crypto tokens, and ICOs are one of the major use cases on the Ethereum blockchain right now, in addition to building decentralized applications, or dApps. So if you're interested in working on an ICO project, you can contact me here via Twitter at Dapp University, or you can email me at inbox@dappuniversity.com. And also, Twitter is going to be a place where I can answer messages kind of faster and interface with you guys. So if you want to reach out to me, feel free to look me up at Dapp University on Twitter. All right, so let's take a look at the token sale and kind of in general from a high level. So what all is involved here? Like, what would you need to do if you were going to build something like this yourself? Well, there's a few components. You would need your own cryptocurrency token, and you would need a token sale contract, and you would need a website that talks to your token sale contract that exchanges crypto tokens from one account to another. So let's break that down a little more. So let's start with a token. So if you were going to just build your own cryptocurrency on Ethereum, you would first need to create a crypto token. And on Ethereum, this is done with a smart contract. And Ethereum actually has a standard for tokens called ERC20. You might have heard that before, an ERC20 token. And an ERC20 token is essentially ERC20 is a specification that determines the interface of a token. So basically, it governs all the rules that says, hey, your token has to respond to these things on the public interface in order to be, used by exchanges and sent between accounts and things like that. So you can actually take a look at the ERC20 standard here. This is the GitHub for the Ethereum improvement proposals. You can see, an entire list of all of these proposals here. The ERC20 token standard was presented in the Ethereum improvement proposal number 20. So you can browse through this. I'm not going to read through everything on here, but essentially, it shows that your token has to have certain functions, right? It has to have a name. Some of these things are optional, and some of the things were required. You can actually see those as you browse through here. Yeah, so it has to have a name. It has to have functions like balance of. Balance of basically is going to say, hey, for this account, how many tokens do they actually have? Total supply, how many tokens there actually exist. Transfer sends the token from one account to another, things like that. We have other functions like transfer from and approve, an allowance. Those essentially allow your token to be transferred by a third party or a delegated party. This would be like if you were going to try to purchase a token on an exchange and you wanted to sell it and buy it at a certain price. You essentially allow the exchange to do the buying and selling for you. So if you're going to have an ICO and you want people to purchase your token and you want your token to get listed on an exchange, a lot of people are using ERC20 in the Ethereum blockchain for this kind of thing. A lot of big cryptocurrencies are doing it. There's even top 10 market cap cryptocurrency coins that are ERC20 tokens at the moment, I believe. So it's a very robust standard, widely accepted, widely used, and a great thing to learn if you're trying to build dApps and tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. So that's the ERC20 standard. So yeah, first you would need to create an ERC20 token. That's a smart contract. This is the standard for which you would do that. Sorry. The next thing you would need is a token sale contract. So that would be a smart contract that governs the buying of these crypto tokens in an ICO. So essentially that smart contract is going to have an account that is an administrator, and you're going to, transfer a huge amount of your initial supply of your cryptocurrency to this smart contract. And the administrator is going to, essentially own these tokens and put them in the contract. And you're going to allow accounts to send Ethereum in exchange for your tokens. And the contract's going to handle that exchange and distribute the tokens to the people who buy it with Ethereum. And that's how people are holding ICOs. So I guess I didn't even explain an ICO. So at that point, if you're unfamiliar with what an ICO is, essentially it's a company raising capital for their business, and they say, all right, we're going to raise capital for our business by tokenizing a small, well, maybe not small, some portion of our business, let's just say 25%, and we're going to turn that into shares, just like you would with stocks in a company. And the ICO comes from an initial public offering, right? In the traditional sense, this is an initial coin offering. So basically we say, hey, we're going to sell off 25% of our business. We're going to mint those cryptocurrency tokens to represent that amount. And we're going to take Ethereum from people. Well, they're going to buy that 25% represented as tokens, and they're going to give us Ethereum. We're going to give them the tokens. Right, so that's how an ICO works, and that's really what the token sale contract is in charge of doing. It's in charge of, handling the actual ICO part of the equation. So that's the second thing you need. You would need a cryptocurrency token. You would need a token sale contract. So you need two different smart contracts. And the last thing that you would need would be a client-side website that connects to your token sale contract that basically facilitates buying for the end user or the account that is connected to the Ethereum blockchain. So I can actually show you what that website would look like. So right, here's my little demo ICO website. You can actually visit this on the Rinkeby test network. You would just need to use something like a Chrome browser and visit dappuniversity.github.io/dapp_token. And right, so this is the client-side application is just hosted on web server. This is a demo. It's just on the HTML and CSS and JavaScript are all hosted on GitHub pages, right? But this talks to the Ethereum blockchain. And in order to talk to the Ethereum blockchain, you would need a browser extension like MetaMask, which is what I typically use for development purposes, or you would need something like Mist browser or something like that, right? Just something that enables your modern web browser to become a blockchain web browser. And you can see this notice that this sale uses the Rinkeby test network. And this is, like I said, this is fake Ethereum. So if you decide to use this, you're not spending real Ethereum from your wallet, right? So yeah, if you haven't installed MetaMask, you can check out my other tutorials where I use MetaMask. Specifically, you can check out the tutorial where I walk you through building a full decentralized application. I can put a link to that down in the description below. That kind of shows you how to install MetaMask and get it set up. So if you have MetaMask already installed, you would want to ensure that you are connected to the Rinkeby test network. And if you are not, you might have to just create an account. It's pretty simple to do. If you don't have any Ethereum in your Rinkeby account, you can go to rinkeby.io/hash faucet. And this is a way of getting free fake Ethereum on the Rinkeby test network. So essentially, like with Rinkeby, since it's a development network, it's a test network. Only certain accounts are whitelisted to mine, so you can't just like start your own Rinkeby node and start receiving Ethereum for mining. You can't do it. So you have to get Ethereum from a faucet, and a faucet is just a smart contract that distributes Ethereum cryptocurrency on the Rinkeby test network. So you visit this website and follow the instructions. Basically, you have to send out a social media post with your account address with a certain hashtag and something like that, and you will receive Ethereum for doing that. So anyways, if you now have an account and some Ethereum, you can participate in this ICO. So this is the client-side website. It's pretty simple. This is, just your basic input where you would enter the number of tokens that you want, and you would purchase these tokens. And we have a progress bar down here that reflects the percentage of tokens sold. Right now, it's a pretty small fraction since we have 750,000 tokens available, and only 1,000 have been purchased so far. So I'll walk you through how this works. Pretty simple. We can see that we are connected to the network because we can see our account information here, and that matches the account that I am logged in with to the Rinkeby test network. So let's go ahead and try to purchase some tokens. Let's purchase 500. We can see that. Okay. Also, we can see that one token is 0.001 ether. So looks like I'm in the clear. I've got 16 ether here, 16 and a half. So that's plenty of Ethereum to purchase these tokens. So let's just give it a whirl. We'll buy these tokens. And our confirmation comes up. Is the gas limit. Gas price is two-way. And I will submit. All right, so that worked. Now I should notice, I actually cut ahead in the video. The Rinkeby network's running a little slow at the moment, so if you click the buy button and it takes like 30 seconds or so, it's not really an application error, it's just the network running slow. And I kind of put a note down here, please be patient if the network is running slowly. Your app is not broken, don't worry, it just takes a second. So we can see that I added 500 tokens to the sale, and this is the current balance of how many Dapp that I have. Dapp is the token name. And I can actually change accounts if I wanted to. I could go to another Rinkeby network account. This one, I don't have very many ether in this, so I'm going to skip that for now. But essentially, you could create as many accounts as you wanted to and participate in this token sale any way that you'd like. All right, so that's the token sale website. Let's take a look at the token sale contract. You can see links to these on the Ethereum blockchain. We can see some data about these. This is Etherscan. This is a blockchain explorer that allows you to, inspect data about accounts on the blockchain, smart contracts on the blockchain, anything with an address you can look up. You can also see transactions. So, right, this is, I believe, the token sale contract. It's either the token or the token sale. Let's see here. Yeah, this is the token sale. This is the token itself. So yeah, you can see the transaction I just created 2 minutes ago. This is when I purchased the cryptocurrency. You can see the transaction hash. Because this is the whole transaction receipt, essentially. You can see the hash number, the status, the confirmations. This is the account that I sent it from, which is the same as the account that you saw here, and the same as the account here. We can see how many ether I sent. This is the value. This is the gas limit, the amount of gas is actually used, gas price, cumulative gas used. Right. You can see the event logs. These are events that were emitted by the smart contract. You can also see this for the token contract. This is the token contract with the address on the Rinkeby blockchain. So let's take a look at some of the contract code, or just some of the full application code that I wrote in this token sale. I have published all of the code in the token sale website to the Dapp University GitHub repository, or the GitHub account. You can see the actual Dapp token repository here. And I've got 2 smart contracts in here, like I said. Well, these are the build. Here's the actual source code. 2 contracts in here, the Dapp token and the Dapp token sale. And I've also got the source for the client-side application. Basically, this is just the single-page website that has the token sale that we interacted with, and all the JavaScript and CSS and things like that. So yeah, you can take a look at this source code if you'd like to yourself on GitHub. You can clone it and mess around with it if you'd like to. So let's take a look. I'll open this in my text editor for a little better syntax highlighting. So the first thing we have is the Dapp token smart contract. And again, if you're not familiar with smart contracts yet, you can take a look at some of my videos where I explain smart contracts. I talk about, what they are from a conceptual overview, and also kind of take you on a demo of how to start building one. You can also check out my tutorial where I take you through building a full decentralized application step by step. I'll put a link to that down in the comments below. But anyways, this is the smart contract for the Dapp token. And again, this implements the ERC20 interface that I mentioned before. And again, this ERC20 interface is really governing the types of functions that I have in here and how they work, right? So it's a standard that's going to basically specify how this contract, how I can use this contract with some other means, right? Like it specifies the interface that this contract should respond to. Basically, something needs to know what this thing's name is, what the symbol is. It needs to know how to transfer tokens. It needs to know how to approve tokens and transfer from, things like that. It listens to events, all that kind of stuff. So just a quick overview. Like I said, it's got a name. Dapp token, it has a symbol like you would see on a cryptocurrency exchange. This is just the standard for my own purposes. This is version 1.0. This is the decimals. This is going to specify the smallest unit that the token can be divided by. I'm using 18 here because that's the same amount that Ethereum can be divided by. So basically, if you take 1 Ether and divide it by 18, that gives you 1 unit of Wei, which is the smallest subdivision of the Ethereum cryptocurrency. This specifies the total supply, basically how many tokens are in existence. And we will keep track of how many tokens are allotted to whom with this balance of mapping. So essentially, I would just have an address, and I would read out of this mapping, how many tokens are allotted to this address with this key value pair. Similar thing for allowance. It's a little more complicated, so I won't dive into that at the moment. These are events that get emitted when things happen, so transfer. So if I move tokens from one account to another, a transfer event is emitted. That's what allows consumers to listen to events in our smart contract. So like, for example, on my token sale website, whenever I purchase a token, whenever that's finished, an event will be triggered, and I can refresh the page and see that the number of tokens has been incremented. And right, so transfer and approve, things like that. So I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of all these functions. I'll save that for a later video, so be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing more, and be sure to leave a comment down in the comment section below if you're interested in walking through building something like this step by step. The other portion of this is the token sale contract. Now this is the smart contract that's actually going to govern how to buy Dapp tokens in this token sale, and this is the contract that we're essentially interacting with most when we use our token sale website. Like, it's talking to this thing most, and the main function that website uses is the buy tokens. When we're buying tokens, we basically specify the number of tokens, and we have some require statements here to ensure that we're not going to trigger any unwanted behavior. We're bug free in this smart contract, so we want to require that you are actually sending the correct amount of Ethereum when you're purchasing these tokens. Like, for example, if you want to buy 1,000 tokens, you would have to send 1 full Ethereum. And that's what we're doing right here. Basically, I have a little multiply function. And this basically says we're going to multiply the number of tokens that you want by the token price. And that's a state variable here that we set whenever we instantiate the contract. So basically, the token price is going to be 1/1000th of an Ethereum, and if you buy 1,000 tokens for 1 Ethereum, we need to make sure that equals actually 1 Ethereum. And we also want to require that the token contract has enough tokens for you to buy. So if you buy 20 million tokens, there are not 20 million tokens in the smart contract, so we don't want you to be able to do that. And we also want to require that whenever you purchase the token, that it actually transfers to the correct address. And if all that successfully happens, we will increment the number of tokens that have been sold, and we will trigger an event that the tokens have successfully been sold. Right, so that's the main functionality of this token sale. There's a lot more going on than that, but that sort of gives you an overview. And so, like I said, this is a full application. I'm using the Truffle framework to build these smart contracts and test them, and also build the client-side applications. So you can see I've got some tests for these tokens in here. These look a lot like the tests that we wrote in the decentralized application tutorial, the voting Dapp. So if you haven't seen that, you can check that out in the description below. That's a 2-hour tutorial that walks you through building a decentralized application where we write tests against smart contract, things like that. So that's the test for the token, the test for the token sale. These are all written in JavaScript. This is kind of how I like to interact with smart contracts in a JavaScript runtime environment. It's kind of similar to integration tests. And also, you can see the source for the client-side application. It's pretty simple. It's intentionally simple. Just a HTML document that uses Twitter Bootstrap, the templating framework, to build out the front end. So I don't really have to write any CSS when I build that. I just have to use their conventions, and I get a lot of UI elements for free. And have a simple app.js file that this is where we build our JavaScript app that governs all of the behavior on our token sale website. And this thing's pretty simple. It just has one big render function. Again, this is intentionally simple for tutorial purposes. One big render function that is called anytime we want to show something on the page. And we have a function for like buying our tokens that talks to our smart contract. Again, our client-side application uses Web3 to interact with the blockchain. And I can show you more about Web3 in that tutorial where I walk you through building the full decentralized application. All right, so that's our tour of the token sale website and the token contract. So if you have any questions about that or you had any problems, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter over here at Dapp University, and you feel free to follow along just for more daily updates in between me making videos. So I am starting to make videos faster since the channel is growing, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can see more videos about how to build your own decentralized applications on the Ethereum network and how to build your own cryptocurrencies and things like that. So be sure to look out for the next video coming out in a couple days. And until then, thanks for watching Dapp University.